And whilst we're talking about these fires here in Ghana, the Agbogloshi fire just happened this afternoon or this morning. And that report brought to you by Rafiq Salam sums up what happened last year. That's still scary. So let's go to Australia and find out the situation there. I mean, for well over a month, the wildfires, bushfires have been raging there. At least we're told that at least 24 people have been killed. And apart from that, several animals in the bush have also been killed. Thousands of them were told. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo joins me in the studio, so we'll have a very quick chat about this and about the conversation on climate change. Now, climate change is a subject that's quite technical. Joseph, you're welcome.
Thanks very
That's
much.
quite technical, but we're beginning to see the manifestation of climate change and the effects that it's come with. Let's talk about the Australia situation. What do we know so far?
So the link is being drawn between that and climate change very strongly. These are fires that Australia has had virtually on yearly basis that it's seen during this time of the year. But the reality is that it's intensified over the last few years, and currently it's virtually out of control to a large extent. The military is being sent in to help deal with it because the fire service folks are unable to completely deal with the fire, and lives are being lost. Millions of animals are being killed as a result of this. People are being forced to evacuate their homes and all. And we all know that in our part of the world, here in Ghana, in the middle belt, in the northern part of the country, bushfires as well are regular occurrences. But the warning coming from a lot of the experts is these are signs that we should take challenges like these very seriously. Because if, as a result of the changing weather pattern, we're seeing the wildfires getting more extreme in that part of the world. Chances are that on this side of the Atlantic Ocean as well, if care is not taken, if the necessary efforts and the safeguards are not put in place, if the right things are not done, if we continue with illegal logging activities, if we continue destroying the environment, if we continue to expose the vegetation all over the place, the time is coming when the bushfires that we've had in this part of the world, which have seen situations where it's caused damage, it's caused deaths, but have largely been under control, we will not be able to deal with it to that extent.
Exactly the point I've been trying to make since you started that point, Joseph. Now, if you look at Australia, Australia is one of the world's wealthiest countries. You cannot compare what they're going through to what we're going through here in Ghana and the response that may come. So far, 25 people have died. And this is a fire, or these are fires that were foreseen. I mean, the forecasters will tell you that this was going to happen. So they even knew this was going to happen. Yet, 25 people have died.
So what is clear is they've been overwhelmed to a very large extent. They've called in for assistance from the Israelis and the Americans beyond even their military moving in. So the point to make is important. Despite their adequate infrastructure, despite the huge equipment that their fire service folks and disaster folks have seen over the years, they have been overwhelmed as a result of what we're seeing this year. So then it raises the question, when we don't deal with challenges like the changing weather, climate and all, and we become overwhelmed on this side of town by challenges like this and bushfires like this, that we are ill-equipped for, that we are ill-prepared for, that our systems and our structures haven't really dealt with to that extent. We've only dealt with bits and pockets of some of those bushfires over the years. Then chances are that the house of cards will collapse and there'll be trouble in there for everyone.
And talking about
take it seriously.
And talking about climate change, climate action, I should put it, it doesn't take so much. It just takes the everyday little interventions that people make to just protect the environment, sanitation, for example.
And acknowledging that the world is not just about we the humans living on it. It's about the vegetation around us. It's about the forest areas. It's about the trees that we find in the enclaves. We covered that story extensively late last year about the illegal logging, the illegal logging of the endangered rosewood species and a number of those other logs in the northern part of the country. The conversation has gone on repeatedly. We highlight the problem. The authorities acknowledge that it's an issue. Unfortunately, no action is taken to protect the areas. You've seen situations of forests being destroyed and devastated, large areas that used to be bushes and vegetations being cut down just to make way for accommodation structures, even when there were other options available. These are all things that we need to take a bit more seriously and help deal with if we can avoid some of these situations hitting us on this side of town and becoming overwhelmed. And more importantly, let's plant trees, which has been the repeated conversation that's been ongoing. Recently, we've seen other countries take that extremely seriously. The Forestry Commission always puts out numbers in terms of how they are doing in that regard, but we all wait to see what the tally of that would be like eventually.
And I've even heard about how students are being asked to, plant trees somewhere in India and elsewhere as part of their graduating requirements.
Exactly so. So the very big conversation can happen at the very international level. The Paris agreements, the climate change accord, the conference of parties that happen every day, and they go see, they have conversations and set targets on emission of gases and how to replenish the environment and all. But the little things that we, the individuals, can do, because the reality is, wherever you find yourself, if the impact of the negativity of the climate is biting, it bites you harder. So farmers are not getting the adequate rains in order to grow their crops, hence creating a lot of losses and them running into trouble. We find situations of animals struggling to find water in order to consume and them dying. And it's been a big problem in Zambia, for example, recently, and they've had to call in for food aid from different parts of the world because the climate has changed so much that they are not seeing the rainfall coming. And we all need to take it a bit more seriously and help protect and preserve the environment so we don't run into some of these challenges.
So this is all about protecting the environment. It's not such a big thing. I mean, it is a big thing, but the things that you can do on your own are not, so big. You can, refuse to take polythene bags, for example, as a start. You can protect more the environment,
keep more recycling. And especially around this time of the year in the middle belt and also in the northern part of the country, and that's the problem that we've seen with the Hamatan and all. The activities like bushmeat hunting that result in fires being set up and it's spreading, and then because the weather is terrible, then it goes a little further. There's the need for us all to take caution in that regard. So
certainly, and I mean, our hearts goes out to Australia. This is a terrible moment for all of them, but there are still predictions that there could be more fires and that the fires could continue burning for months. You see firefighters, they're trying there, and this is a country that has the equipment, a country that has the system, and you see how they're struggling to keep afloat. So, well, we know our story already. We don't need an angel to retell us. Joseph, thank you very much. Joseph Opoku Gakpo, he's head of Agric and Technology Desk. He's also just coming from the United States of America, actually, where he's been at the Cornell University helping with the Alliance for Science, correct?
Accurate. It was good to see you.
It was good to see you too. All right.